What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse on the LCC Network for Wild Card Weekend. I can't believe we've made it this far, with COVID and everything, but here we are, recording this like at 11 o'clock at night. It's hard to believe I'm up right now recording a podcast for a fantasy football league, but I'm doing it, and I've got two of some of the best co-hosts in the business, and that's Cody and Jordan. Welcome back, guys. We didn't really take a week off, but everyone else who did, because we didn't do a podcast, or we didn't release one, but we definitely recorded one. But it just didn't record anyone else but me, so that would have been really awkward just to release something with just me talking, so to myself. But how are y'all doing?
I'm good, Jordan.
I'm pretty good. That was a hell of an intro. I'm glad to know we're some of the best in the business.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
That's right. You guys are the best around at 11 o'clock on a Friday night. You are the best. Trust me.
Yeah, you're not going to find much better than this.
That's right. You guys have a pulse.
Fine.
And you're good. But no, it's wildcard weekend and the LCC. That means a couple things. That means one, anything is possible, like we already know in our playoffs. And then on top of that, this kind of sets up for the divisional round. I know in a lot of leagues, a lot of wildcard teams don't even make to their championship game, whatever you want to call it. It's called the Little Critter Bowl in our league. But in our league, though, a lot of wildcard teams actually end up winning it in some ways. Not necessarily the 6th seed, but like the team that just missed getting a first round bye, a lot of times does some damage in the playoffs. And we're going to see some of those teams feature. I keep thinking there was a Thursday night game and everything, but we're going to see that this weekend, and it's going to be really interesting because it's the first time we've ever had a bye, to my knowledge, during a playoff game with everything going on. And Jordan, of course, you're feeling it this year in the playoffs, which sucks, but it's definitely gonna impact the way these games go and probably the way we predict some of these games.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Jordan's hitting it hard just because he's losing 3 of his top 4 players just based off a bye week this week. I think I said it off the podcast. I thought maybe we should have foreseen this coming a little more than we did. I don't think we realized that this was how it was going to be. And, at this point in time now, like you can't do anything to help it. It is what it is. And everybody's kind of underneath the same thumb, but it just sucks that it's playoff time and you have some teams that are going to be in these situations where they're not at full strength.
Yeah. No, it definitely sucks. You don't want to lose a playoff game because of injuries, and you definitely don't want to lose a playoff game because of bye weeks. That's like the worst way to lose because you're like fighting with your arm tied behind you. But hey, I'll tell you this, Jordan, if you're able to win, it's going to be that much more special, the fact that you were able to do it with a bunch of guys on your bench, essentially.
Oh, yeah, like it's going to suck, especially having to get a quarterback at this point in the season. Not to mention, it's kind of crazy. They're all 3 Panthers on the bye, and just myself being biased Panther fan, it's funny that they have wind up being 3 of my 4 highest scoring players. But
you're such a homer. No, I'm just kidding.
One thing the afternoon delights do not do is make excuses. And we will come out fire in full force no matter who we got in the starting lineup. So be wary, slap dicks.
That's right. As they say in your parts of the country, you're all in.
You're all in. We are all in all the time.
All the time. Never.
Best is standard. The standard is best.
He's got that posted somewhere in his room right now. He's staring at it.
Oh yeah, I got that tattooed on the butt cheeks.
So we're not gonna necessarily break down the games how we normally do, where we run down each matchup and it's pretty cut and dry. We make our picks. Not that we won't pick teams throughout the night, but one of the things we're doing, and Jameis actually came up to this. Unfortunately, wasn't able to join us. So we're doing what are we calling it, Jordan? Like your playoff team Santa wish list.
Yeah, it's pretty much your when we were kids, we all wrote a little Christmas list to the jolly fat man. This is a fantasy football Christmas list. What would you put on your list for your playoffs this week?
Let's do it. I'm gonna play a sound drop to kick this off. That went longer than I thought I was gonna go. But anyways, they're back to I think Madden 96. I want to say one of the songs from that. Anyways, yeah, some of the games. Well, I'll just refresh everyone's memory in the wild card. We've got primetime players versus Crazy Likes, Abusement Park versus Beg for G-Reg, Michael versus Spurs, Slapdicks versus Afternoon Delights, and then our bowl game for this weekend is in the McDonald's Bowl. This is the one everyone dreams of. Their $10 McDonald's gift card to get a Happy Meal. You've got the Batard Lobos going up against the one and only. Oh man, I thought I had it in front of me. Never mind, it's not popping up. Hang on, I already forgot the bowl game. I gotta go pull it up now.
Isn't it?
I don't know if it is a Mondo. I want to say it was Mondo, but
Mondo and oh geez, what's his name?
Alex.
Alex, yes.
Yeah, I knew Alex is in it. I just couldn't remember who from Conference A was in it, but I think you're right.
It's Mondo. I remember texting him and saying, "Hey, but you're in the McDonald's Bowl this week," and he's like, "What is that? You thought you were good enough to make the playoffs, but didn't?" Basically, good luck.
Yeah. No, you get if you win $10, $10 McDonald's gift card. Next bowl is the Pizza Hut Bowl. That's next weekend, and then the last bowl game, which is during the conference championship games, is the Visa Card Bowl. But like I've let people do in the past, if you'd rather just instead of getting a Visa gift card, if you'd rather just get, cash or Venmo or just discount next season, that's totally fine.
Hey, listen, the bowl is sponsored by Visa. You'll get your damn Visa card.
That's right. We have legitimate sponsors in our fantasy league. But no, so let's do our Christmas wish list. And should we include the bowl games or no?
No.
Okay.
They don't deserve feel degraded enough.
Yeah. They probably don't even want to hear us talk about them, honestly. They're probably so done with 2020.
Yeah, Mondo's playing for McGriddles. I think he's fine with just skipping through.
A large fry and a shake. That's what they're playing for.
Yeah, I think the only person that really cares about that stuff at this point in time is Charles.
That's right.
Yeah.
Charles is kind of a bowl game legend, I feel like, in our league. He's always in a bowl game.
It took him a year to get his victory.
That's true. That was pretty messed up. But yeah, he does have his. He can't say that we never gave him the gift card at this point. He got it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'll make sure that does not happen this year because that's kind of crazy that it took that long. Anyways, so we'll start off. We'll start with Conference A, primetime players, and the Crazy Lakes. What would you say is Daquan's and Matt's Christmas wish list for the wild card weekend? What are they wishing for from Santa this year?
Well, besides a win, because that's obvious from everybody's wish.
For me, I'll just go with Matt. And I think Matt's wishing for two things. Matt's wishing Aaron Donald has an legendary Aaron Donald game, and he's also wishing Chris Carson wasn't splitting carries at this point in time.
Yeah,
Like, that's what he's looking for.
I totally agree with that statement. I mean, he has to have Chris Carson to at least put up a respectable game. It doesn't have to be a dominant game, I don't think, for him to win, but it's definitely got to be within reason, right? Like, so maybe 25 points. I don't think that's astronomical, but I think he does need something like that to stay competitive in this game. I'm pulling up some of these matchups now, actually, so I can see some of their lineups. I don't know if everyone set their lineup, but
Since he said it for Matt, I'll switch over to Daquan's side, and I'll say that he's asking Santa for his superstars to be superstars.
I couldn't have said that better myself, to be honest with you.
He needs Nuke to put up like a classic Nuke day instead of the 15 that he's gotten back-to-back weeks. He needs to see another 30 to 40 week from him, and he needs old TJ Watt to come around and do something crazy. And you know what? And I thought about this since Cody said it. We're always talking about our favorite teams, of course, but he's talking about TJ Watt leading the league in sacks and stuff. But Cody brought up, ironically, he hasn't forced a fumble. And I think that might change this week just because it's something he's good at. And he's probably going to see a little more attention with Bud Dupree, but he's going to need him to play big. Yeah. Bud Dupree out with a torn ACL, if everybody didn't know.
Also, if anybody's listening defensive-wise, like, the Steelers' D-line is loaded. In my opinion, and I know I'm a Steeler fan, but the Steelers' D-line is loaded. And so you have players like Stephon Tuitt, you have players like Cameron Hayward, you have players like TJ Watt, and they're going to get a bunch of attention. And there is a guy named Highsmith that's about to take over for Dupree, and he was basically drafted to take over for Dupree after Dupree went to free agency this year because we didn't have the money to pay Dupree. So my point being is this guy is good, and if anybody does not have a reliable linebacker defensive end because he can qualify for both, I think they should really take a look at him because I think he might have a big game somewhere between now and the next couple of weeks. Just a thought.
That's a good point.
A proud Charlotte 49er.
Yeah, I mean, he's a solid kid.
For me,
I guarantee if you look at his numbers, he's probably had a couple of decent games already. Like, I know he's had a pick and a couple of sacks as well.
Well, we kind of dove deeper into Steeler talk, but do we want to? Are we going to make predictions on the end of these, or are we just moving on?
No, we can make a prediction. I'll say real quick, Cody, you mentioned Chris Carson was on Matt's Christmas wish list for Santa. I'm going to go a step further. I don't think it's just Chris Carson, but I think it's Phillip Rivers and T. Higgins as well, because Phillip Rivers has an extremely favorable matchup against Houston this week, and I think he could actually end up breaking 40 points, which he doesn't do very often this season. He's only done it once all year, and that was against the Bengals. So I think this is a game where Phillip Rivers could go off. I know it hasn't done it much this season, but I think this is a week where he needs him to, and I think he can do it. And especially against Houston, whereas Big Ben's going against Washington, and I think Big Ben could have a respectable game, but I don't think it'll be as good as Phillip Rivers this week.
Well, Washington's got a ridiculous defense, in my opinion. Get after the quarterback, and they got some really good corners. And
they have a better defense, a better pass defense than Baltimore does. And Big Ben only got 27 fantasy points against Baltimore this past week.
I also think that Baltimore's more in clue on how to play Ben Roethlisberger as well.
That's true.
Being in division, being a rivalry and everything like that. I can feel the whole Phillip, and I think Phillip's going to – I really don't think he needs a massive day from Phillip because I do think there's a very good chance that Phillip puts up a better number than Ben Roethlisberger at this point in time. But I do want to make it to a point where the T. Higgins thing rings true, because if you really think about it, you probably weren't as worried about T. Higgins just a couple of weeks ago with Burrow, because you knew they were going to throw it 50 times a game. Well, what are they going to do now?
Yeah.
You know, what are the Bengals going to do now? So Matt needs a decent day from T. Higgins. Matt needs T. Higgins to get a touchdown and be the focal point of that offense. And is that possible with the backup quarterback? I don't know. And so it's a little worrisome. His his position is a little worrisome because Chris Carson's losing carries. T. Higgins lost his quarterback. I mean, he's just got a lot of he's got these couple of little positions where, he was finding diamonds in the rough. But once it comes playoff time, the situations are a tad different. And they're not different in his favor. And I definitely can see T. Higgins being in that wish list in terms of someone that needs to pay off this week. But I don't know if I see it quite that way.
Yeah, I agree. Who you guys picking in that matchup?
I'm picking Daquan. I like the matchups, and he's also just got a team that's, he's got a team that's not struggling in terms of positioning for that player. Chris Carson's losing carries, T. Higgins lost his quarterback. It just Phillip isn't quite. I don't think Phillip's been rather good all year, but
no, he's been average. I'll say that.
So I got Daquan by 20.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna surprise and pick Matt. I just like some. I think Phillip will have a good game against Houston. It says on MFL and other sources that Pete Carroll has pretty much said Chris Carson was getting more of a load now that he's had that week, the first week back from injury, and should be the featured back this week. So I'm hoping that goes up for him. But a loss I don't like for Matt is Jonathan Abram, but on the same hand, Daquan's losing Jeremy Chin, who is probably defensive rookie of the year, and I think Kerry Willis, the safety for the Colts, is going to be out this week, who's been putting up solid numbers. So I'm going to say Matt rides a hot week, and T. Higgins stays afloat with maybe a touchdown, and Matt pulls off the win. And Daquan beat him twice this year, so I think maybe this third time around it'll be tough to complete the sweep.
And Kerry Williams is out, by the way. That's a definite.
Okay.
And the last time Matt beat Daquan, you'd have to go all the way back to 2017, which of course was the last time Matt has been in the playoffs, if I remember right. And Matt won that game 223-208 in Week 5. First time they ever played in the playoffs, by the way. So this is a big game for their rivalry history. I feel like this should be good. For me personally, when I'm comparing them, obviously I actually like, besides Kerry Willis, obviously not going to play, I feel like this is a get-right week, finally, for Jordan Hicks. Playing against the Rams, this is the first offense that truly loves to run the ball versus the past 4 games: Miami, Buffalo, Seattle, New England. And New England likes to run the ball, but not in the traditional sense of running the football. I actually like Jordan Hicks this week, and I think that might be a game changer for Daquan to win this game in a very close game. I don't think it's going to be a 20-point game. I really think it's going to be about 10 points or less in this matchup.
Yeah. I think it'll be close, yeah.
Cool. We'll move it on now to our next matchup, which is Abusement Park versus Beg for G-Reg. And this is a game, I mean, I feel like that entire division has been a nonstop battle for first, second, and third place. And third place is good enough to get into the wild card. So this is 2 teams that are extraordinarily good this season. They don't have a ton of success in the past. I mean, BP has only been in the league for 1 year before this year, and he made the playoffs, but he didn't go far. Abusement Park, this is his first time in the playoffs. We've hyped him up every offseason. He's finally lived up to that hype. fell short of winning his division barely. But what do you think is on Amusement Park's Christmas list versus Beg for G-Reg's Christmas list for this week?
Well, my first thought when I looked at Beg for G-Reg's starting lineup is his first sentence to Santa is, "Please let all my players start." I feel like he's got like 6 guys that are questionable, but yeah, if he can have Santa actually have these questionable guys play, that's what he needs to ask for. And I guess it's the same thing as asking to win, but ask Santa to allow your stud players that have bye weeks as well to see one more week.
Yeah. What about you, Cody? What do you think's on their these guys' Christmas list?
You got anything for amusement park?
Yeah, I mean, for amusement park, man, just 2 things. Let Troy Reader be what Troy Reader was last week, and maybe 1 week prior to that, than what he's been all year, and also let Kenyon Drake get the goal line touches. With Kenyon Drake, he basically splits touches ultimately. Like if you're talking about passing and rushing, and at the end of the day, like all you can hope for is that he's going to get the goal line and he's going to get more of the rushing touches and occasional like pass here and there. But you got to hope Kenyon Drake is going to get the majority of the touches.
Yeah. I think to me what's pretty remarkable about A.J. Brown, and I think A.J. Brown is part of Amusement Park's Christmas list, is the fact that last week he put up 37 against a top 10 pass defense. He got 24 the previous week against another top 10 pass defense. He's going against the 20th pass defense this week against the Browns. A.J. Brown getting like a 40-plus point game is definitely on Amusement Park's Christmas list, and I think it's within reason that Santa delivers on that request. I think there's a shot for that to happen.
Yeah, you might pull that one out of sack for sure.
What about? I mean, this is going to be an interesting game, guys. I'm kind of comparing the matchups here. Obviously, there's guys I like more than the others, but they almost contradict each other in ways that just, I mean, it's going to make it neck and neck. I mean, obviously, you're going to pick Josh Allen over Derek Carr every week, but you're also going to pick Dalvin Cook over Kenyon Drake every week, too. So, I don't know. Who do you guys like more in this matchup?
I mean, I'm amusement park personally. It depends on Beg for G-Reg, in my opinion, at this point can be saved by Dalvin, definitely, because Dalvin's just that type of player where you can maybe save like a shitty week by the rest of your team. But in terms of overall team and overall build, I really like amusement park.
Okay. Jordan?
Yeah, I'm going to lean amusement park in this and say probably rides Josh Allen. And like you said, A.J. Brown. G-Reg can keep it close. I mean, you said you would take Josh Allen every week, but I guess the one time you would kind of take Carr to try to pace him is playing the Jets.
Right.
So he can definitely keep it close if he can get these guys to play. He really is. I thought I was hurting, like missing my Panthers, and he's missing Brian Burns and Devin White from the Bucs, so I know that's hurting his defense. So I'm going to lean slightly amusement park.
Yeah, I think the scary thing about Derek Carr is that he got 9 points against the Falcons. He had the 31st pass defense in the league, and the Jets are the 30th. So, I mean, he should have a good game, but what the hell is going on in Atlanta? I mean, they totally shut down Las Vegas on the run game, the pass game. I mean, they had no answers for Atlanta's defense last week. I mean, don't get me wrong, the likelihood of a professional quarterback at Derek Carr's level, above average quarterback in the league, being that bad back-to-back weeks against really bad pass defense, I think that's pretty slim. And Atlanta's been on a hot streak too. On top of that, so
yeah, I think the Jets are gonna pay for what Atlanta did. Honestly,
yeah, I'm actually going to go Amusement Park too. I love Dalvin Cook this week. This is going to be like a freaking phenomenal week against Jacksonville. I mean, he's going to tee off on these guys. I mean, we could be looking at like another 70-point game, something crazy, which would keep BP in this game without a doubt. But Josh Allen, I think he's going to do good. I do think A.J. Brown, again, is going to have a really good game. And Troy Reader, I know that is not a name on most people's radar, but this is a guy that should be on your radar for the LA Rams. I mean, this is a guy I'm actually a little bit excited about even going into the offseason to some degree, just because the Rams defense isn't quite what we thought it was. And I don't mean like skill level wise, but the way they're using their defensive players from an IDP perspective, Troy Reader's a name to remember heading into the offseason next year. I think he could have a good game against Arizona. I am a little worried about the fact that I think they're going to be using him and their other linebackers spying more often than not playing against Arizona, but I do think he should have another good game. I'm going to go Amusement Park in this. And it looks like my fantasy league is leaning towards Amusement Park too, picking him 208 to 193.
I'm not a big fan of Troy Reader, but you're straight. We like different stuff.
Yeah.
I just think he's had 2 good games, man. Like all year,
Well,
there's no indication of like
he
him
hasn't
being
started really because I mean, but now he's in the starting lineup again. That's the reason why he hasn't done anything. But he's legitimately getting over 90% of the snaps now.
All right, we'll see.
History-wise, we've only played each other twice. Haven't been in league long. And the split, actually, Amusement Park won Week 12 this year. Beckford G-Reg won Week 3. So this is going to decide who leads in the overall record, but also who advances to the next round playing against their other rival, Detroit Bad Boys. So let's keep it rolling here. We've got... let me exit out of this tab. It's kind of useless at the moment. Our next matchup is on Conference B side. We got Michael versus the Spurs. I can't get over the fact that Michael is a playoff team. Like, I guess I got used to him not making the playoffs. He's come close, like once or twice, but he's actually here. He's got a solid team. But what do you think is on Michael's and Cameron's Christmas list for Santa in the wild card round?
Well, for Michael, he needs to get big production out of his linebacker. Like, he needs to wish that Landry has a big game, maybe gets a sack or two, and gets big production out of that. And honestly, if you really think about it, like, I feel like Tyler Lockett is that hit or miss guy. He either has that massive game or he's kind of just, laid back. He gets about 20 points, a little under, a little over. I think he would do just fine with him getting about 40 points because Tyler Lockett's one of those receivers that's, big play, big time, and he explodes. When he has a good game, he has a freaking good game.
Yeah. What about you, Jordan?
This is for Michael.
Well, won the matchup.
Yeah, either one. Who do you think? What's on either one of their Christmas wish lists for this week?
Well, Cameron's wish list, it shouldn't be too hard to get granted, and all that is for the Titans to keep feeding Derrick Henry, because King Henry is doing some carrying right now. 68 points last week against Indianapolis. And this is actually a rematch of last week. They played each other.
They did.
And Cameron blasted the doors off of them in big part to Derrick Henry. And it's not like nothing serious we want to happen, but jokingly, I was talking to Michael about this game a couple days ago. And I took like his matchup, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna need Derrick Henry to die to win this." I just started laughing, but yeah, that's his thoughts on the situation. But he could also ask Santa to immediately put Austin Eckler back into that RB1 category. So we'll see how it plays out for him.
Which he didn't have Austin Eckler starting last week.
Yeah, which it was a tough situation. I think he started somebody on Thursday, and
which
Eckler
wasn't
didn't get activated till Sunday.
I mean, granted, it wasn't a bad play because at the end of the day, Peterson got 29 compared to Eckler's 32, but you have more potential. Yeah, you have more potential within Eckler over
Exactly.
at the same time. Yeah,
Austin Eckler, man, when he has played, honestly, he has lived as Cody. I think I could be wrong. Maybe I remember this right, but I think you're his biggest ally in the off season.
Yeah.
And he actually, he's only played 4 games. I get that. I mean, played like full games, right? I mean, he got hurt week 4 pretty early on. But in those games, I mean, 20, 36, 49, 32 against the Bills. And now he's going against the Patriots, which is kind of like a middle-of-the-road rush defense, kind of like Buffalo is this year. You know, Austin Eckler, man, and he doesn't get the yards really rushing. It's in the air. And I feel like Austin Eckler could, I'm not going to say he's going to keep pace with Derrick Henry, but he's going to have a good enough game to where it's going to mitigate what Derrick Henry is able to do. It's going to take away from that a little bit.
I can do that.
For me, I think if I'm going to pick for someone's Christmas list, you know, I don't want to go the obvious because I feel like Michael, Austin Eckler have a good game. Sure, that makes sense, and I think most people would say that. But I think for Cameron, just a player we haven't talked about, Joe Schobert against the Vikings. I think Cameron's Christmas list is another 40-plus point game going against another top-notch rushing offense in the league. He got 42 against the Browns last week, who's the number one, rushing offense in the league. Minnesota is the 6th. It should be another high-scoring game for Joe Schobert, and I think that's got to be on Cameron's Christmas list heading into the wildcard weekend is Joe Schobert having another good game against a great matchup and throughout the rest of the playoffs, which he should.
All right.
Who do you guys like more though in this game?
It's hard not to roll with Cameron, man. Just the way they've been playing, and I know Stafford is banged up and even more questionable to play for Michael. So if that happened, it would swing heavily in Cameron's favor. But I think it'd be a lot closer this week with Austin Eckler back, like we said, and I think this will be one of the boom weeks for Lockett that Cody was talking about.
Yeah, I think it will be.
The way DK's been going off, and then they're playing another bad team, I just feel like they're going to get Tyler involved to keep him happy, pretty much. But overall, I'm going to lean Cameron and say he gets it done with a more evenly distributed lineup.
Yeah, I'm actually going to ride with Michael for the upset. You know, me personally,
I can't say I wouldn't like to see it just
for Michael.
Yeah, from like you said, it's weird for you even to see him in the playoffs. So it would be something else if he came up and took the Spurs out.
Yeah, I don't know what Swift's availability is, but like that's somebody like I think Michael should.
Yeah, last time it wasn't too good for Swift.
Yeah, I wish if it's not good for Swift, I wish it was like. Michael was at full strength in terms of where he could start an Eckler and a Swift at the same time because I think that's, I think that would have been his best lineup at the time. But I'm going to go with Michael for the upset, to be honest.
I don't blame you going Michael for the upset because I in my head I was like, do I want to pick Michael for the upset? I feel like I'm crazy if I do that. But the matchups, like we haven't talked a lot about Preston Smith, but against the Eagles this week, Preston Smith could go off. I mean, without a doubt. Harold Landry, Browns, could definitely go off. Jordan Poyer against the 49ers could definitely have a solid game. Wilson going against the Vikings, he's going to be playing in the box this week. He could have a good game. I mean, Michael could go tit for tat against the Spurs and make it a very close game. I think closer than probably most people want to really realize is that Michael, if there's a week where Michael's going to go off through the entire postseason, it's this week. Whereas Cameron, I think long-term, could have more success in the playoffs based off upcoming matchups and stuff. I'm kind of with you, Cody. I'm actually, you talked me into it. I'm going to actually pick Michael in this in a in a pretty big upset in the playoffs, considering the fact that Cameron has not lost a single game since he's won 5 straight. So this would make it 6.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy. All right, we'll move on to our last wild card Christmas list. That's right. We've got Slapdicks versus our very own. And it's gonna be a good game. I to some degree, because of the fact that Jordan's got so many guys on a bye, I think it's gonna, without a doubt, have to be a close game.
Or a fucking blowout the other way.
It's good
Yeah.
to be here, boys. It's good to be here.
It's good to be here.
I remember Jordan talking to me about tanking at one point in the year.
I know.
In the playoffs, he kept winning. He was like, you know what? I'll just ride this.
Yeah, Jordan.
We're
Jordan's
here.
on a streak.
We're gonna do what we could do. Try to pull this out.
This is I don't know, Jordan. I feel like, me personally, if I had to pick a team I'd rather play against Slapdicks. And before looking at the bye weeks, I felt like one of your Christmas wish lists was Shaq Thompson finally get his life together, but that's not even going to happen this week because he's on a bye. For me, when I look at the Christmas list for both of you, I think for you, it's got to be DK Metcalf against the Giants. I think that's a game where he has to do good, like we had talked about earlier with the other matchup in Seattle. But because Calvin Ridley going up against the Saints, I think he's going to have a good game for Atlanta to have a shot in that. And they're obviously trying to win games at the moment, so I think you've got to have him do good just to be able to cancel out what Calvin Ridley may do this week.
I mean, for me, I think it all starts with, Jamal Adams being one of his better players. I think he needs to have one of his up games, one of those 50, 60-point games, and he's had a couple of them already this year, probably 3 or 4. And I think that's what he needs, personally.
Yeah. I think, and then for Slapdick's Christmas list, I think David Montgomery. I mean, he got 47 against Green Bay last week, and that was, don't get me wrong, that is a very rare occurrence for David Montgomery in any year. But going against the Lions, one of the worst rushing defenses in the league, oh man. I mean, that's good. That's a good matchup for Slapdicks. And I think David Montgomery having another, 30-plus game is definitely on his Christmas list for Santa. What about you, Jordan? What's on your Christmas list?
Well, short of the Panthers not being on a bye week, I'd say my wish list is just Chubb being Chubb, Adams being Adams, and hoping one of these plug and play guys hits. I'll zero on one specific one, and I'll tell you, because I obviously haven't set my lineup yet. But my one specific wish to Santa, win or lose, is for the Indianapolis Colts to absolutely feed Jonathan Taylor. Asking for it all year. These motherfuckers.
Not happening.
They took a first-round pick. My wish to Santa is they feed Jonathan Taylor.
I've been wishing that all year, and it's
He had a 30-point game right before he had to go out due to COVID, and so I'm hoping those carries come back. And Houston's run D is terrible, so
That's true.
just hoping they get up on him and pound the rock.
Yeah. Who you guys picking in this in our last wild card game?
Me personally, just because Jordan's shorthanded, I'm probably going to go with Slapdicks. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a nice week and probably get over 40 points for the first time in, 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah.
And I think that'll help. I think that's my key to his game. Him and Calvin Ridley having a nice game. Those are his wish lists for me.
Okay. I think for me, in terms of picking who I think is going to win this matchup, I'm going to have to. I really didn't think I would do this before looking at the actual matchups and the bye weeks. I think I'm going to go slapdicks in this, Jordan. I hate to say that for you, but you're in a tough spot this week, to say the least.
Yep, we are. But you know what? I'm picking the Afternoon Delights, and we're gonna get it done.
You know the last time you won a playoff game, Jordan?
Nope.
Hang on, I'll tell you. I don't know either. Off the
It
top
was
of my
like
head. Let's see. Afternoon Delights. Let me scroll down here. Last time you won a playoff game. Oh my god. Wait, do you want to guess? Last time you made the playoffs was 2017.
Matt's championship year.
2017.
Yeah. No, that's not the last. The last time you won a playoff game was 2016.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I'm due.
Yes, you are due.
Hey, Pat's probably felt like he's due for a championship and fucking.
If there's anyone due for anything in this league, good God, it should be me. I am over here just getting my ass whooped by anyone and everyone in the playoffs when I play them. So, hey, good news is, Jordan, if you're able to win this week, you got a clear shot to the conference championship game. So, you should be ecstatic right now.
Who would he play?
Me.
Shot?
He'd be playing me.
I was about to say, what does he mean? Who's a clear? Who are we dogging here now?
And then Big Us, last time he made the playoffs was his rookie season in 2015. He was a 6th seed then, but he lost 227 to 172 against Jade. But yeah,
He's in a good position.
he is. He's in a good position to get his first playoff win. For those that don't know, since we talked about it, the bracket, the way it looks, Afternoon Delights, Slapdicks, winner of that plays me, Roebuck Leprechauns. Winner between the Spurs and Michael plays Give Me More. Hang on, we haven't even talked about this. I don't know how the hell did we get this far into the podcast, not bring up the fact that we just had a team go 12-0 for the first time in league history. And then on top of that, this is the first time I've ever seen it done in any fantasy league. I'm talking just basic redraft leagues, random fantasy leagues where you join some crackhead on ESPN.com. I'm talking about any level of fantasy league. I've never seen it done. A team go undefeated in the regular season. Jameson did that. That's Give Me More. And as obviously the number one seed in our conference.
If you want to crown them, then crown her.
I mean, seriously, the guy. Kudos to Jameson. Congrats. I don't know how we got this far in the podcast without bringing it up. But yeah, anyways, winner between the Spurs and Primetime Players. Not Primetime Players. Michael plays him. And then the winner between Primetime Players, Crazy Legs, and Conference A plays She's the Man. And then winner between Bedford G-Rag and Beeson Park plays Detroit Bad Boys in the divisional round.
Well, just because I want to give him some flack, I feel like, he's not one of those, he's gone 12-0, which is unbelievable. Like, it should be commended at the same time. But, like, it would be much more impressive if he was 12-0 and also had scored the most points in the league. But he's also, like, the 5th highest scoring team, something like that, 5th or 4th, one of the two. So, it just puts a perspective when you play people, how you play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
Yeah.
I totally commend his 12-0, but I'd be more impressed if he was the highest scoring team. Or I'd be more not impressed. I don't want to say that. I'd be more like scared of him if I was a playoff team if he had scored the highest points in the league and was 12-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like at this point in time, like if I was playing him, I'd be like, oh, he's due for a loss, man. I'm about to get him. Like, yeah, like if I had to be scared of anybody at this point in time, like Cameron would be somebody I'd be scared of just because, like, I feel like he's hot, kind of like he was last year. He's one of those teams. And then I feel like people are dogging him a little bit. I like Daquan's team, and I really like Detroit Bad Boys team. Like, I think those are the 3 teams that I feel like have a legitimate shot to just ride a nice wave. I just feel bad for Jameson going 12-0 and like I just know it's not gonna last, dude. That luck gonna. I hope it doesn't, dude. If he goes 12-0, like I have no problem seeing him like win it all. Like it'd be awesome as hell. But at the end of the day, like if I was 12-0 and I was in this position and
I'd
averaging
be
what I was
nervous.
averaging point wise, oh yeah, like I would be scared. Like I just try to set my lineup, but like I wouldn't have that confidence. You
I
know
would
what
just
I'm
be. I mean, he's confident, but I think he knows like he feels that pressure of he doesn't want to be the first team to go 12-0 and then lose in the division round. You know, I mean, what kind of legacy does that carry? But like I told him, man, just going 12-0 in itself though is a feat worth recognizing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
cool.
But at the same time, that's not how you want to go out in your first playoff game against a team that got into the wild card. That's the last thing you want to happen. So
We might have to make him a commemorative T-shirt or something.
commemorative T-shirt. I mean, honestly, like we never. I feel like if we would have thought 12-0 was ever possible, we would have probably created some sort of like Hall of Fame point bonus for going undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, we are commissioners. We can create that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it should be a thing. Like,
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Like,
Anybody listening? Let's have some suggestions. How many points
did nobody think
regular season be?
Did nobody think the Patriots were good when they went undefeated and lost in the championship? No, they probably
That's true.
thought the Patriots were better than the Giants still. Like even after that game, but at the end of the day, like people.
They probably were better than.
No, I mean they beat the Giants in the regular season.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying. Technically, it was 1-1. Like it just happened that day that they ended up losing. They
yeah,
certain things fell a certain way, but nobody. I'm sure the Patriots or people would take that Patriots teams over some Super Bowl winning teams.
that's true.
That Giant team was also Madden champs.
I forgot about that. Madden, that's right. Madden tournament. Throwback to Cameron's birthday parties back in the day.
Cameron can confirm what year if he listens to this whole thing.
He'll confirm what score. He'll tell you the final score. That
Put the year and score to the game. So I'm looking forward to that, Cameron. But, yeah, it was the Giants. I know that.
I always lost to you, Pat.
it was. We always had like defensive battles.
Second.
We would win like 13-6 or 6-3. Like no one in Madden only gets a field goal or 2 field goals in a game, but somehow me and Cody like we sucked at offense or we were damn good at defense. One of the two was happening in this matchups.
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah, probably. No, last thing I'll say about Jameson though is based just this regular season alone has helped his regular season win percentage skyrocket. It's at 600 right now. He's won 57 games, lost 38, but his playoff winning percentage isn't much better than mine. It might be worse than mine percentage wise. He's 1-5 in the playoffs. It's .167. I mean, it's pretty low. I'm just gonna pull up mine. Maybe it'll make me feel better actually.
He's got the highest winning percentage in the playoffs.
Oh, probably Jade, I would imagine. Oh, there we go. I've got a higher playoff winning percentage than Jameson. I've won 2 games and lost 8 in the playoffs. So I've got one more win, and I've been here since the beginning, and he hasn't. That's pretty sad. You guys got any last minute comments though before we hop off and move on to the divisional round?
No, I think I'm comment free.
I'm good, dude.
Well, guys, thank you so much for hopping on the show with me. Everyone listening, if you're still listening at this point, congrats, you made it 49 minutes in to us talking about a handful of teams. Oh, do you guys want to mention bowl game teams who you're picking in that at least? Between Mondo and Alex?
Give me Mondo.
I'll take Mondo without even looking at the lineups. I know now Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes for the win.
Alex is sneaky, but I still like Mondo's team.
Mondo's team is sneaky. I think his record, it doesn't really reflect what his team's capable of week to week. Let me save that. I actually didn't technically set up their matchup. Now it's set. Okay, cool. So people should be able to see that on the app and website now. that they're actually playing in a bowl game for the McDonald's Bowl. It's going to be fun. For me, I'm in that game. You know what? Give me Team Alex. I'm going to go upset, even though they have the better record. I'm still calling it upset if they win. I'm going Lobos. Well, guys, again, thanks for joining us. We will see you guys in the divisional round. Best of luck to the teams in the playoffs, in the bowl games. And to those that are just listening and aren't in it, well, hey, we appreciate the support. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.